All right, listen closely. Pay attention. Because what you are about to learn is exactly why Washington insiders are losing sleep. President Trump isn't just making appointments, he's assembling a wrecking crew to demolish the administrative state. Lee Zeldin at EPA, Pam Bondi as Attorney General, and now Tulsi Gabbard facing fierce opposition from the same people who claim to champion bipartisanship? But here's what they're not telling you. This isn't just about filling positions. It's about systematically dismantling decades of bureaucratic control. And right now, we're going to show you exactly why they are terrified. And you know what happens when the deep state loses power? They panic. And right now, as Trump's new appointments shake the foundations of Washington, the elites are scrambling, just like those power companies that have been overcharging you for years. But here's the difference. You can fight back against your power bill. This revolutionary device is exactly what big energy doesn't want you to know about. It helps dramatically reduce your energy consumption and protects your appliances. Visit don'twastepower.com for a massive 65% discount and free shipping. That's don'twastepower.com. Okay, let's get into it. This is the big news right now. 5 hours ago, Lee Zeldin confirmed as EPA administrator. Congratulations, Lee Zeldin. I like the guy. I like him. I liked him when he was in Congress. I was kind of sad that he didn't retain his seat. But now he's back. He is back in the swamp, but now he is going to be cleaning up the Environmental Protection Agency, which is essentially an environmental terrorist organization. Here we have Trump's AG. This was 10 hours ago. Trump AG Pam Bondi left a former AG Ashley Moody, now a senator, a note after leaving her Florida office. Moody became Attorney General of Florida after Bondi. Moody now returns the favor. Let's listen into this moment.
The greatest, and it is evidenced by what she left me on the day she left office. She left me a note card with a personal note. She said, "Ashley, you will be the greatest AG." And you know what I get to say now, Mr. Chairman? Right back at Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi will make the greatest United States Attorney General.
Oh, she's going to do a wonderful job. And here we have Juanita Broderick. She posted this. This is our new beloved press secretary. Quite an upgrade from Karine Jean-Pierre. This is the dynamic and brilliant new press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. And I guess we got some beautiful behind-the-scenes stuff you don't normally get to see. So let's take a look.
Do you know who Karoline Leavitt's husband is? This 27-year-old young woman is expected to become the youngest White House press secretary in history. On Christmas Day in 2023, Karoline accepted Nick Leavitt's proposal. She posted a photo with her husband on Instagram and wrote in the caption of the post, "I got to marry the man of my dreams. I feel incredibly blessed. Thank God." Nick doesn't have a public political or public position like Karoline does. Judging from the current information, Nick might prefer to keep a low profile. Their son, Nicholas, was born in July 2024, just a few days before the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at the Butler rally in Pennsylvania. Karoline said in an interview that she was on maternity leave due to childbirth and was watching the rally on TV with her son at that time. However, when the shooting incident happened, she told her husband that she needed to go to work immediately. And of course, she did just that. She took on the responsibilities of the campaign activities as well as her role as a mother, while her husband Nick supported her silently behind the scenes, allowing Karoline to devote herself fully to her work. Even Trump praised her, saying, "Karoline is smart, tough, and has proven to be a very effective communicator. I'm quite confident that she will do an excellent job at the podium and help convey our message to the American people because we are Make America Great Again." Do you know who Karoline Leavitt?
That was beautiful. You don't normally get to see those types of moments and hear those types of stories, but we're in a new era, folks. We are in a new era. Here's what Elon Musk had to say about Tulsi Gabbard. Every attack on Tulsi Gabbard is a smear concocted by those desperate to prevent the change voters demanded in November. Quote tweeting Donald Trump Jr. Trump cabinet nominee Loeffler pledges to donate salary to charity if confirmed. Let's see. We can go a little bit deeper. I think this is the Fox News. First on Fox, here we have former Senator Kelly Loeffler, President Donald Trump's nominee to serve as Small Business Administration Administrator, plans to donate her entire federal salary to charity, Fox News Digital has learned. She's a prominent business executive, philanthropist who served as a senator from Georgia for 2 years, goes in front of the Senate Small Business Entrepreneurship Committee Wednesday for her confirmation hearing. If confirmed, she will donate her annual federal pay of $207,500 to charity. And where do you think she picked that one up from? Yeah, Donald Trump, he doesn't take a dime either. And speaking of our new press secretary, did you hear about this one? Elon Musk quote tweeted this, calling it the tip of the iceberg. Doge and OMB Office of Management and Budget found the Biden administration was about to send $37 million to the World Health Organization and $50 million to fund condoms for Gaza.
Also, just during this pause, Doge and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. Doge and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza. That is a preposterous waste of taxpayer money. So that's what this pause is focused on, being good.
Yep, they are pausing and they are analyzing it. Let's take a look. This is from Elon Clips. This looks like Elon back on the campaign trail. Love this guy.
After year, with the larger government gets, the less individual freedom you have. And I think, that's really the core things. Your freedoms have just been eroded year after year with more and more government laws and regulations and regulatory authorities. When I looked it up, there's like 428 federal agencies. What the hell do you need 428 agencies for? Like, why do you even need 100? This is crazy. They're currently making new agencies at a rate of 2 per year. And every one of them is chipping away at your freedom. So it's essential for us to unwind that process and restore your personal freedom. And with that will come great prosperity and personal happiness, I believe.
Great prosperity is on the horizon. 13 hours ago, Elon Musk said this checks out. Doge. Many federal civil service workers spend most of their workdays complaining about their jobs on Reddit. Interestingly, much of the activity violates federal law. He was quote tweeting Amuse, another great X follow. This is the daily workday activity on Fed News. So someone actually tracked this Reddit, Fed News, and this is the standard workday. So while they're supposed to be working, they're busy posting on Reddit, complaining about their jobs. So if they're complaining about their jobs, then they might actually be violating federal law and make it so much easier to get rid of them. We're learning this now. Elon Musk apparently has been nominated for the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his efforts to protect free speech. And if there's anybody that needs it and deserves it, it is Elon Musk. There's some context here that was added. Musk was proposed to the Nobel Committee for nomination. The committee receives hundreds of proposals each year. Yeah, well, he deserves it. So proposed or asked or whatever, doesn't matter. He definitely deserves it. Reportedly nominated for the 2025 Peace Prize. Elon Musk posting this meme 8 hours ago. Number of genders from 4004 BC to 2020 AD, there were only 2. From 2021 AD to 2024 AD, there were 73. And at present, there are only 2 genders. Elon Musk nominated for the Peace Prize. Here is more. And an effort is being led by conservative Slovenian member of the European Parliament, Branko Grims, who believes Musk deserves the award for promoting free speech around the world. The Norwegian Nobel Institute, nomination successfully submitted. Your nomination for a Nobel Prize has been successfully submitted The Norwegian Nobel Committee appreciate your effort in making this nomination. So this is also beautiful. That's the official email reply from the Nobel Committee. Pam Bondi, DC Drano 11 hours ago, just got voted through committee and will be before the whole Senate soon. Democrats uniformly oppose Pam Bondi for AG. That means she absolutely needs to be confirmed. George Beasy tweets, Senate Judiciary advanced Pam Bondi's nomination to become the next Attorney General with a tight 12-10 vote. Yes, we need her there. Trump's Commerce Secretary nominee Howard Lutnick speaks about tariffs during his confirmation hearing. He says tariffs will be across the board. Now, of course, Howard Lutnick, he's also the one who's been pushing to end the IRS. At almost every single speech he gives, he makes it a point to bring that up, and that's why I love this guy. I've been talking about ending the IRS and ending the Federal Reserve for 20 years, and finally we have people in power that actually get it and are pushing it. So he says tariffs will be across the board, not targeted. Will be country by country macro approach. Will be implemented to create fairness and respect, and to create fairness. Will be implemented to create fairness and respect and create reciprocity. Commits to dealing with retaliatory tariffs from other countries. Dodged a couple specific questions by reiterating that the U.S. has been treated with disrespect and others have a reliance on the U.S. economy. So that is good. He is moving forward as well with the America First agenda. Here he is, Howard Lutnick. This was a live blog on @Business. Trump's pick for commerce faces questions for his confirmation. If confirmed, he'll lead tariff and trade agenda review, chips funding and export controls, AI and spectrum policy, and more. Here's his opening statement at his confirmation hearing to be Secretary of Commerce.
Thank you, Chairman Cruz, Ranking Member Cantwell, and members of the committee. And thank you, JD, Mr. Vice President, for your kind introduction. I deeply appreciate our friendship and that he was able to join me today. I'm profoundly grateful to President Trump for the confidence and faith he has placed in me. It is an honor to appear before you as your nominee for Secretary of Commerce. My family is here with me today. I would like to introduce you to my wife, Allison, who's sitting behind me, who for 30 years has been my great partner, advisor, and the spectacular mother to our wonderful children. My oldest son, Kyle, behind me, Brandon, Casey, and Ryan. My extraordinary sister, Edie, is also here, as well as Allison's brother, Rick, and my sister-in-law, Abby, and many of my closest friends have chosen to come down to support me. I grew up on Long Island, New York. My mother was an artist, as you said, and an art teacher. My father was a professor of American history. My mother, Jane, taught me how to appreciate life. When I was 14, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. But she decided if she was going to die before then, she was going to live. I'll never forget the day she pulled me out of class. So I rushed to the car and said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I'm okay, let's go." We drove to New York City. We went to art galleries. Then we went to the opera. We went to a late night dinner, got home super late. And of course, she expected me to get up and get to school on time the next day. My mother died in February 1978 when I was 16 years old. A year and a half later, my father was diagnosed with lung cancer. He kept his diagnosis secret from me because he wanted to make sure I left to start college in the fall. He dropped me off at school, and a week later, he went for his first chemotherapy treatment at a local hospital. The nurse accidentally gave him the wrong dose, and he died right then and there. It was September 12th, 1979, and I was 18 years old. So we all know losing one parent is heartbreaking, but losing both is something entirely different. It's life-shattering. Without any support from our extended family, Edie and I put my 15-year-old brother in a boarding school right near my college, and he would sleep with me in my dorm room on the weekends. The next year, Gary moved up to live with my sister and spent the next 2 years living with her while she earned her law and business degree. The three of us became inseparable. But as you can imagine, the pain we suffered when Gary and 657 of my other friends and colleagues at Kenneth Fitzgerald were killed on 9/11. The company was located on the top 5 floors of the World Trade Center. I still can't say without being emotional, sorry. But no one in the office survived. I was taking my son Kyle to his first day of kindergarten, which is why I'm with you today. The company was destroyed, but on September 12th, I hosted a call with my surviving employees, and I laid out 2 choices for them. We could either attend our friends' funerals, but that's 20 funerals a day for 33 straight days. Or we could try to rebuild the company to take care of the 658 families that we lost that day. So this phone call led to one of the most extraordinary events in American business history. All of our employees, both new and those that survived, agreed to donate 25% of their salaries to the families of 9/11 colleagues. So together we raised $180 million over the next 5 years for those families. And my employees, they stitched my soul back together. My employees never expected to get paid back, but I had other ideas. So in 2008, we took a division of our company public, and I gave each and every one of those employees double of what they had given to those families. I've worked at Cantor my entire career, 41 years, and rebuilding the company over the past 24 years is my greatest business achievement. After 9/11, we were down to about 1,000 employees. Today, the company employs more than 14,000. I'm so proud of my exceptional friends at Cantor, BGC, and Newmark. I saw the strength of the American spirit during President Trump's campaign, and it fueled my desire to serve our nation. We need healthy businesses, small, medium, and large, to hire our great American workers to drive our economy. I will dedicate myself to making our government more responsive, working to ensure Americans have the greatest opportunity for success. I am an outcome-driven leader, and upon my confirmation, I will take a thoughtful and rigorous approach to leading this great department and serving our country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I look forward to taking your questions.
Right on. Good guy right there. Bitcoin News reports Trump's Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick didn't list Tether or any crypto investments in his financial disclosure, despite at least $806 million in assets. Still, Elizabeth Warren is pressing him over Cantor Fitzgerald's stake in Tether. Warren presses Lutnick on ties to crypto firm loved by the outlaws. That's the headline. J.D. Vance, here he is introducing Howard Lutnick at his confirmation hearing.
You have as much fun as I did. Great. Well, good morning, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Cantwell. And I see Senator Curtis has my old chair, so hopefully you do or you have as much fun as I did and do as much good as I tried to do. Senator Marino and all the members of the committee, I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to introduce my dear friend Howard Lutnick, who I think...
No, I'm just thrilled to see J.D. Vance sitting on the other side of the table as the Vice President of the United States. What about you guys? Oh, man, this is great. Let's continue.
...to make an amazing Commerce Secretary for the United States of America. You know, one of my mentors in business always said that any good business has both product people and sales people. And Howard is one of the few people who is both a product guy and a sales guy. And I want to talk about that because I think that America, as Commerce Secretary, needs a Commerce Secretary who is both a product guy and a sales guy. And what do I mean by that? If you look at his career, Howard is the kind of guy who developed innovative products. He has a number of patents to his name, something I didn't even know when I first got to know Howard, but I learned later. But he's also an incredible sales guy. This is a person who, on the world stage, will say more and do more and convince businesses that America is back, that America is growing and thriving. And I think that will inure to the benefit, most importantly, of American workers who have seen their wages stagnate, their real living standards decline. And Howard is exactly the kind of guy that we need to reverse that trend and get American commerce back on track. Howard is, more than anybody maybe that I've ever met in the private sector, aware, in part because of the fact that he didn't grow up with everything handed to him, of the way in which what happens in the real economy affects real people. And that if we have a thriving, growing economy, we're going to have a stronger national security because we make more of our own stuff. We're also going to have an American workforce that is thriving, that is healthy, that is happy. And of course, that's what we're ultimately, I think, all of us here on the Commerce the Commerce Committee most focused on. Howard is a force of nature. For those of you who don't know him, And for the employees of the Commerce Department, I will say, with all apologies, you're going to work harder over the next 4 years than you probably have ever worked in your entire life. Howard is the kind of guy who can have you work 90 hours a week and make you feel like you're still energetic at the end of the day, because he's working 110 hours a week, and he never lets his foot off the gas, and he never forgets what the mission is that drives him to do all of the incredible things that he has done and that he will do as Commerce Secretary. Now, I want to say a couple of words about Howard's biography, because I think it influences certainly how I think about him, and I think it informs, hopefully, how all of you will think about his nomination. This is not a guy who was handed everything. He grew up in a family where they often struggled to make ends meet. He built one of the most successful and biggest financial firms in the world, and of course had it all destroyed by terrorists on 9/11, 2001. Now, Howard didn't die that day. He lost 600 employees, including, I believe, your brother, Howard. But he didn't die that day because he took his son to kindergarten on the Upper East Side, and so he wasn't in the towers when the planes hit. But what he did in the wake of it is maybe more impressive than what he did before. One, he rebuilt the business to where it is today. Again, one of the great financial firms in the entire world. But more importantly than that, he didn't forget the families of the employees who lost their lives that day. And I will never forget, talk about a good salesman. When I visited New York on the anniversary of 9/11 during the campaign, and as you all know, campaigns are very busy. There's a lot going on. And Howard said, JD, you need to come by my office, because on 9/11 every day, and we've done it since 2001, we raise money for the families of the people who lost their lives that day. And I said, Howard, this is the middle of a presidential campaign, man. I'm the vice presidential nominee. And he said, no, you're coming. Trust me, you're coming. And I showed up on the floor, on the trading floor of Cantor Fitzgerald, and every single person was selling and working their tails off, not to make money for Howard Lutnick or the business that day, but to make money for the relief efforts and the families who they still take care of, what is it now, 24 years later. And that's an incredible testament to a guy who doesn't forget where he came from, who doesn't forget the people that he lost that day. And I can't think of a better person to be the Commerce Secretary than a person who is a product guy, who is a sales guy, and who is an incredible human being who doesn't forget the employees that he lost that day. And I want to make one final observation. So Howard has a beautiful family, and it's good to see all the kids here, and his lovely wife. On the campaign trail, one of the, as you all know, I have 3 little kids, and I like to take my kids with me on the campaign trail whenever possible because I'm a dad first. And as you also may know, when you have little kids, sometimes little kids don't behave all the time. In fact, they often don't behave. And I remember when we took our kids to Howard's house on the campaign trail, and we actually had a fundraiser that evening in a different place, but we had a few hours. And I told my wife, I said, we're going to take the kids to my buddy's house, Howard Lutnick's house. And she said, you know, do you really want to take our 3 kids, energetic, wound up, to somebody's house? They're going to destroy something. They're going to embarrass us. And I said, Howard's house, his wife's house, yes, actually. And we spent the morning with them. We spent the afternoon with them. And then we went to our event. And I'll never forget afterwards, my wife looked at me and said, we felt like the kids could just be kids. Even though they didn't know Howard, and even though Howard didn't know them, he was a good enough guy to make it possible for our kids to just be kids. And I think that it's important to have the kind of person at Commerce who can't just do the job, because Howard can certainly do the job, who hasn't just been wildly successful, because of course Howard has been wildly successful, but is just a good dude. And Howard is a good dude. He will make us proud as our next Commerce Secretary, but he makes me even prouder to call him a friend. God bless you, man.
Vote for Howard, because he's a good dude. Now, they didn't mention the IRS in their opening statements, probably because, you know, that's red meat for you and me, not necessarily for a confirmation hearing. What else have we got here? So many beautiful things happening. And it's just a great day to be in America. So look at what's happening. Every single Trump nominee is facing unprecedented resistance. Why? Because these aren't just appointments. They are precision strikes at the heart of the administrative state. When Pam Bondi gets confirmed as Attorney General, the DOJ won't be able to hide behind political prosecutions anymore. When Lee Zeldin takes over the EPA, the climate change industrial complex loses its enforcer. And if establishment's reaction to Tulsi Gabbard tells you anything, it's that they're terrified of outsiders who can't be controlled. So here's what I want you to put in the comments. Why do you think the same people who demanded unity after Biden's election are now trying to block every single Trump nominee? Especially when Donald Trump appoints former Democrats. I want to hear your comments. So stand out with our exclusive Mag Avengers gear because patriots wear their values. Available now at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.